Hey, it's Kane Alessia, international speaker, best-selling author, and serial entrepreneur, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the upcoming World Class Speaker Conference. You know, I wanted to just share a couple of things with you that really often hold people back from becoming great speakers or even stepping into the role of being a presenter and speaker. Now, as you know, we're not training you to become a world-class keynote speaker or just a great speaker. We're not training you to be a professional speaker. We train professionals and business owners that actually want to use speaking and presenting to move their businesses or sell more of their services or products. They want to move it forward. They want to sell more. They want to make a bigger difference. And most importantly, they want to really help people across the planet. So if you're someone who loves to help people, you're going to be loving this upcoming conference. In fact, not only just selling stuff, but if you're someone who wants to make a major difference, you want to make a major movement, you want to build a community, if you want a message to get across the world, if you have a story that you feel you should be telling that will help inspire or motivate other people, this is very important. And that's exactly why you're coming to the World Class Speaker. So we're very excited to share with you the systems and the tools and the frameworks that we use to be able to share our message across the planet. Because, you know, where we started was exactly in your place. We had no real training, no real background, no real knowledge. We just had a passion to go out and help the world with our products, services, our missions, and our messages. We wanted to make a big difference. Sometimes we use our messages to change policies for political stuff. Sometimes we use it to reach across the world and just share and motivate and inspire people to change their lives. And sometimes we use it to sell products or services. Either way, it's all about helping and inspiring people. So remember, there's three things that are critical when it comes to utilizing presenting to really make an impact. Number one is that you motivate people. Very, very important, right? People need to be inspired. They need to be motivated. If they're not motivated and inspired, then they're not going to take any action. And of course, presenting and profit speaking is all about getting people to take some action. Now, the second thing that people really need is they need to get educated during a presentation. So motivation, inspiration is not enough. You know, you can watch a great YouTube video or watch a great TED Talk or get a great book or get inspired by an ebook or a video. But then people need to understand what do they need to do to solve their problems, make a difference, or take action. And that second one is the education. It's a framework. It's a system. It is a set of techniques that you have used or that you've observed being used that you can teach people that have no idea, or teach someone that really wants to get ahead in a certain area. And you have the keys that can unlock that by giving them the best practices. This is something that goes into your presentation. It's called education, of course, or best practices on an area that you really want to help them with. And the third thing that really separates our work from everyone else's in the world is the call to action. You know, the greatest presenters on the planet that we've spent time with, like Sir Richard Branson or Tony Robbins, Robert and Kim Kiyosaki, Les Brown, Harv Eker, all these people that have created multi-million dollar empires, if not tens of millions or hundreds of millions, by using speaking and presenting. They were always asking people in their audience to take some what? Action. They wanted people to actually move forward, take some action, not just think about things differently, but actually take action and move in a new direction. Maybe that's committing to something. Maybe that's committing something psychologically. Maybe that's committing something financially. Maybe putting something in their calendar, or, you know, putting down a deposit on something because they're going to learn or educate themselves. Or maybe they want them to buy a better product, maybe something to help their health, or something that can help them in business, or something that can help them in their relationships. Either way, nothing moves forward until people commit and take action. So in the World Class Speaker, we're going to be training you for the entire time in how to create presentations that motivate, educate, and create call to actions at the highest and most successful level. That's what we do. That's what we train entrepreneurs, business owners, and professionals in around the planet. We've had over 500,000 professionals come through our trainings to learn how to do exactly that: motivate, educate, and make call to actions. However, we have noticed that there's a few things that can really stop people in their tracks. They will really get frozen with concern or fear if they don't handle these three things. And I want to help you handle these right now to get you moving forward. Number one, new presenters and speakers are always worried about what are they going to say. What's the content they're going to say? Is it going to be any good, right? They're worried about essentially what will they say? And many times people are worried about what if they forget what they're going to say, right? So let's start with the first one. What do you say? Well, Alessia and I really believe that you have all of the information, all of the things that you need to say already in your mind and in your heart. You just need to be willing to share it. And we're going to show you structures on how to actually structure up your content and ideas. We're actually going to show you a chunking system that's going to show you how to actually chunk out your ideas so that you don't have to feel overwhelmed by having to memorize an hour speech or a 90-minute speech. That's daunting. That feels overwhelming for everybody, even for us. We actually are going to show you a system where we chunk everything down into very very small segments so we can just remember what's the very next segment that we need. But the deal is the question is, where are you going to actually draw some inspiration for content? Because you might be saying, well, Kane, like, that's great, but what am I even going to talk about? Well, the first thing is stories, and stories from your life. So think about areas in your life where you have some stories, and specifically stories that demonstrate where you have struggled or gone through some real challenges. You know, it's like a dip where you've had a real issue, like maybe in money you've gone through bankruptcy, or maybe you had a health crisis, or maybe you had a relationship crisis, or maybe you had a business crisis, or a psychological crisis. Maybe you got really depressed and you were feeling totally like you couldn't get out of bed, and you beat it, you triumphed. These stories, which are often called zero to hero stories or defining moment stories, are very powerful to draw inspirations from. And the best part about it is it's your story. Now, some professionals say, well, but I don't have any great stories. And we always say, that's not true. You just need to look deeper into who you are and what you have done over your time. And to be honest, if you really feel like you have no great stories, it's time to take some adventures in life and really get to some great stories. But the reality is that every human being has stories, because it's not so much about what happened, it's about how you share the story. How do you share the story from challenge to triumph? And it is in that gap, that challenge to triumph, that creates the drama and the excitement. And you can go on for, minutes, half hours, hours. You can go on for days telling great stories. I mean, if you ever go to a Tony Robbins event, the guy can tell a story for 2 to 3 hours, right? So we are going to share with you some great tips on how to tell stories. We're going to share with you the expert tips of how to tell great stories. But right now, I just want you to get connected to the places you already have content. You already have ideas to get inspiration from. So stories is one. Number 2, research that you have done. So if you're looking to create some content, time to get online and maybe do a little research in a topic that you're going to be delivering a presentation on. If you're doing something technical, well, maybe you have a lot of that experience already, or you get online, you start doing some research. Start looking at what's going on out there. What are scientists showing in this area? What are professionals that are doing research in it? What are experts sharing about? That's another area for great inspiration for content. And the third area that we often suggest is, what are some other authors or speakers or people that you love to listen to that are sharing out there? What are they talking about? What are some hot trends that are going on in their areas that they're sharing about? And you say, oh, that's a really great thing. I would love to talk more about that. And you can do some research on what they are, what they're talking about, and take some of their ideas and adapt it and change it into things that make sense for you to deliver. So that's the first fear, is really having content. Second one, what if I forget what I'm going to say? Can't tell you how many speakers have said to us, oh my gosh, I've got my whole thing written out. I know what I'm going to present, which we always say, don't script it. You don't need to script it. Just speak from your heart. Just share what inspires you. And we're going to give you a format called the format system, which is going to show you how to actually just speak from your heart and never run out of things to say, because you're not thinking about what you're saying. You're thinking about the context of communication. And we'll tell you more about that and how to use that at the World Class Speaker event. So the question is, what if you forget what you're going to say, right? Well, we're going to show you a way to actually use your slides and use PowerPoints to consistently trigger the neural pathways in your brain to be able to share the chunks that you wanted to share. So what you're actually going to do is you're going to use visuals, and you're going to use, you could even use cue cards if you wanted to. No one's ever got an issue with you using something that helps you re-trigger the things that you want to say. We use our PowerPoints. That way, if you ever watch us present, we click on the PowerPoint, there's a picture behind us with a couple of words, and we go, oh yeah, that's where we're going next. And then we've got a little chunk set out for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and voila, we're going. Alessia and I have a daughter. She's 4.5 years old, and she performs. She sings on stage, but she's always terrified that she's going to forget the words. So whenever we put her on stage, we always give her a little help to remember the first couple words, and before you know it, boom, she's presenting and singing the entire song. But she needs a little bit of that help at the beginning, and that's very common. So you're going to create little things that are going to cause you to instantly remember what you want to say, whether that's using little cue cards, whether that's using little notes on a music stand, or whether that's using your slides, which is what we recommend, so that the pictures and the words on the slide trigger your mind to say, oh yeah, that's the next point I wanted to make. The last thing, the third thing that causes speakers to feel really concerned before they go on stage is whether they're going to be judged and whether they're going to be good enough or engaging enough in the audience. Well, we're going to be creating all sorts of sequences for you, and we're going to be teaching you ways that you can engage an audience, whether it's asking questions, telling stories, doing activities, asking them to engage with each other, ways that will keep your audience energized. Because in summary, what we're going to teach you to do is to present by what we call intuition, energy, and impulse. And when you manage those three things, your intuition about what should be said next, the impulse is about what you want to share about and get people motivated, and the energy of the room, you'll actually never have to worry about what you say, because you're always going to have the tools to keep people engaged, motivated, educating them, and then at the end, asking them to take an action that they're going to say yes to. So this is Kane Alessia. I'm very excited to see you at the upcoming World Class Speaker. Have a great time till then. Make sure you engage on the forums, and make sure you watch out for the other videos, and we can't wait to see you soon. Bye-bye.